Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, what up, though, people? Look who we got back, man. It's Wake Up Woodward. We got Mr. Flannel, Sam on the desk. And you guys know that voice, too, man. That's Mr. Matt Broder. It's a big day for you again. It's going to be a big week, man. A big summer.
Huge. This is a big week for Detroit. Every week is a big week for Detroit. Am I right?
Hey, definitely, man.
3-1-3.
It's 3-1-3 day. Happy 3-1-3 day, people, man. Celebrate Detroit. The area code. I remember when I was younger, man, that's all I wanted was the 313 area code. I was like, man, just please, like, can I get that? They were like, do you even live there? It's like, I used to. They were like, But, hey, welcome to the show, chat family. As always, you guys are a very, very, very big and important part of this show. Smash that like button, and if you already have, continue to encourage other people to do so, too. Share the stream, post the stream. You guys already know the deal, and the phone lines are open. Something tells me we're going to have a lot to talk about today. 313-552-6322. Shout out to our elite booth as well. We got Mr. KG in the sound booth over here, Detroit's #1 draft pick. And we got Woodward Sports' MVP. In the TD booth, Mr. JB Smooth. How you feeling today, bro? Flannel?
You know, I'm feeling great. I know I mentioned this on BDE yesterday, but to all of you in the building who don't know, and for everybody who is a Wake Up Woodward listener who doesn't know, yesterday was my wife and my mom's birthday on the same day.
Come on!
Oh wow! Yeah.
I had a pretty eventful day yesterday. Lunch with my mom, dinner with my wife, and Kool-Aid. You know this very, very well as a fellow married man.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes when you have those nights with your wife where you really kind of are like, wow, I'm a pretty lucky dude who's married an amazing, beautiful woman. That was one of those nights. And I think it was and she seemed happy and I was happy. And it was just an all-around great day for myself and hopefully a great day for my wife and mom as well.
You know what, man? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, because the one thing I know you've let people hear several times on these airways is that you love your wife and some other things as well. And I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. And now you're about to get me in trouble, man. My wife is going to be like, hey, take me out somewhere. So we're going to have to get a
That's cute, guys. That's really cute.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
We got to get Broder there. But I know what you can do for us right now.
Tell
You
me.
can tell the people what we're talking about today.
Jace Young? Oh, like for the entire show. The entire show. We're hitting a lot of free agency again. I know it's been crazy out there on the streets of Twitter, on Lions Twitter, Lions X, I guess it's called. But free agency opens up today. Yeah, it hasn't started yet. There are still moves to be made. There's a lot of action that happened yesterday. A lot of moves that don't involve the Lions that impact the Lions. I know there's just a lot to talk about in the NFL. We're going to touch on the Lions. We're going to touch on the NFC North. We're going to hit Woodward Pistons at 8:45 today. We got to talk about that little State of the Union. Rod won't be with us today, but we're going to make up for it with some Woodward Pistons talk with Kool-Aid. And then we're going to get right back into Lions talk. Is there secondary? Have they done enough at this moment before free agency starts to go into 2024 season? The favorites in the North, we'll see. We'll see.
You know what? And that's the question there. That is the question. I know that before free agency, before the draft, kind of just after the season, a lot of us, fans and media alike, were kind of on this wave that, you know what? The Detroit Lions are going to get right back to the Super Bowl. They're not going to have any type of, fall off from the previous season. And now it seems like that reaction is a little bit mixed. But let's get around the city, and then we're going to talk Lions, Pistons, Lions. Definitely. So, definitely. As we get around the city, the Pistons, they do have a game tonight versus the Raptors at LCA. It's at 7 p.m. They have an opportunity to win back-to-back games and continue to march towards this 18 wins that Mr. Flannel over here has predicted.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll just touch on it briefly. And they did this against the Hornets, and they did this against the Brooklyn Nets. you have to feel like those fellow bottom feeder teams when you got them at home. These are teams that you're supposed to beat. So go out there and beat the Toronto Raptors. I know they have a better record than you. I know they may have a little bit more talent and they're a little bit better, but they're the Raptors. They gave away Pascal Siakam. They're in a rough stretch as well. So go out there and beat them tonight.
And
have some pride.
And OG Anunoby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How could
them.
I forget? Yeah.
And for me, this is one of those, there's not much to play for this season for the Pistons. So why not go out and get a W against Scotty Barnes, who, everyone, was he second in Rookie of the Year voting that year behind Evan Mobley of
He's good.
He was first.
Cleveland?
He was first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scotty won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you step up. You play hard for your teammate, Cade. You look for things like that to just keep you motivated here at the end of the season. They should go beat Toronto. They better.
Definitely. And since we're going to talk about them a little bit later as well, we'll move on to, let's talk Oakland University basketball, man. They're going dancing. They are going dancing. We've been on this show. We've had Giovanni Mosheri on this show, the sports director for WXOU.
Jomo.
We went out to the games. We know that Neil Rule is the golden voice of the Golden Grizzlies, and their basketball team punched the ticket to the big dance, March Madness, man. Congratulations to them. I know that a lot of us were watching the game. We've been cheering them on through the tournament. We cheered them on in the last regular season game against University of Detroit Mercy as well, where they won the regular season tournament. Now they add to that the Horizon League tournament championship as well, and they've punched their ticket to the big dance.
Yeah, the cruel world of being a mid-major, like being in the Horizon, is yes, they can win the regular season tournament, but it doesn't mean a damn thing for their tournament hopes if they don't go out and win the conference tournament, and that is exactly what Oakland did. And I'll tell you what, I know that I might be a little biased because I see him every day in the office and I've done a ton of shows with him, but nobody deserves to call an NCAA tournament game, or hopefully multiple NCAA tournament games, more than one Mr. Neil Rule. Hey, nobody deserves to call NBA games more than him. He is a hell of a play-by-play man, but this is a guy that needs to go to the tournament, even though he's just the announcer, but he's big time. So congratulations to Neil Rule. And Neil Rule also made kind of a prediction that I hope comes true. What if they face Duke in the first round and beat them?
Let's go.
Well, like he's a guy that's been known to speak some things into existence. So let's make that happen.
Let's make that happen. I like to hear that. And you know what? I couldn't be more happy for somebody like Mr. Neil Rule as well, man. Supports all of us a lot. He even messes with Flannel a lot, on the shows. And you know what? But just the type of person he is, the type of guy that he is. Even me on the Pistons beat, on the Detroit Pistons beat, as they kind of bumped me up from tier 3 to tier 2. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he was one of those guys that had a lot to do with the behind the scenes. So I don't shout him out enough as it relates to that. No, we talk about Terry Foster and Rob Beard, but shout out to Neil Rule, the president. Hey, he's our president. We salute thee.
Hey, let's go. Trey Townsend, by the way, Horizon League MVP during the regular season. 38 points, unstoppable in the second half. 11 rebounds. 11 rebounds.
Man,
Caps off an incredible career.
Yeah.
They're going down. Like, this is big news. Oakland University, I think it's been 10 years. Greg Kampe has been the coach there for 40 years. This is something we all got to celebrate. This is for the state of Michigan. I know they're in Rochester, but this is for the state of Detroit. Yep. It's going to be fun. And check this out. This is a chat MVP. Freddie Felt 313. He was live. He got to hang out with Neil. That's Trey Townsend right there. And I think he got to hold the trophy at the end. Freddie Felt 313. Check that out, baby.
Shout out to Freddie Felt, man.
Yeah,
Our
man.
chat is awesome, man. They're always on one. And you want to talk about a chat that I believe is very, very active within Detroit sports. It's not just a narrative for them. It's life for them.
Also,
Those are the
Freddie's
best fans.
huge. Freddie's a tall dude, and Trey Townsend makes him look tiny. Tiny.
But
Shout out OU, baby.
Shout out to OU, man.
Cheers.
Definitely. Congratulations again. And the Tigers, they win 1-0 over the Twins in spring training. Is there anything to take away from this, bro?
Yes. Two things.
Let's go.
Kenta Maeda and Jackson Jobe. That's it. Kenta Maeda, starting pitcher, 4 innings pitched, I believe 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 hit. And again, there was some great pitching in relief too. I think it was Bo Brisky, one other relief pitcher, I can't remember. But the story of yesterday in a 1-0 game, you're bringing your top prospect in the minors, Jackson Jobe, who was drafted not this past June, but the year before. He comes in 3 straight outs, gets the first guy on a ground ball, 2 strikeouts, no walks, hit 101.8 miles per hour on the gun. He looked incredible. Oh, are we showing this? Let's go.
Yeah, that's dope.
He was throwing a fastball on the corners at 100, 101, 102. He was throwing a nasty 86-mile-an-hour changeup and a disgusting slider.
That's
like these swings, and I know some of them are prospects coming up, but these are he's making some big leaguers look silly.
That's dangerous when you can paint corners with 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
Right?
Oh my God,
And
that's
it moves.
dangerous.
You see it. Like I couldn't tell if his fastball was a changeup because there's so much movement on
Yeah.
it. But that is 101 with movement. And what's he, 20?
Yeah, I had almost forgot about his name amongst all the young Tiger players.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to a lot of great things from Jackson Jobe, man. That's a good outing,
bro.
Yeah.
Bro. I'm a changeup guy, and just seeing him close it out with 2 straight
That's
changeups.
sick.
You throw 102, and then you pull the string, they say,
Yeah.
and throw 86-mile-an-hour changeup. Nasty.
It's reminiscent of somebody, but I'll hold that name into the big leagues.
I'll tell you
See
what,
him do
though.
that in the big leagues. I'll give that name.
Just
Yeah.
briefly, their young pitching upside is high.
Yeah, very.
High. But-
Right. Steve
Disco.
Mariucci. Steve Mariucci. Yeah. The bar is high.
I don't think it.
Morning wag.
Do you
morning
think
wag.
they're? Do you think Flannel?
Morning way.
If they were expecting to bring him up this season, or if we start seeing stuff like this, how do you keep him out of the big leagues, even in a bullpen position? Midway through the year.
Is there a lot of precedent for a young, phenom starting prospect playing in the pitching in the bullpen?
That's a good question.
In your in your de facto, or not really your rookie year, but your year where you get called up at the end. I'm not so sure. I'm not going to clamor for that or anything. But
Yeah.
if it happens, I mean, you saw him just close out a spring training game looking like that. So
Yeah.
it almost makes you salivate, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like Pavlov's dogs. My mouth is
Yep.
watering.
Oh, shoot! Big pause.
Good morning.
12 minutes
Good
in.
morning.
Fast
Good
forward.
morning.
And you know what? We can't close out the Around the City. I saved this kind of till the end of it without talking about. I see you over there, brother. I feel you, bro. I think that's all of Detroit
Oops.
right now. That's all of Detroit right
Oops.
now. The Detroit Red Wings, they lose again 7-3. The priority waste management patch. I don't think. Look,
Hey,
bro,
that patch
Boulder,
is
like
undefeated.
You said yesterday, that patch is undefeated, man. 7-3. And you know what? It's compounded with the fact that at the trade deadline, they didn't really make any major moves to be able to improve some of the weaknesses on this team, like the defense. Flannel, I know you said you had some things to say about this. Take it away,
No,
brother.
I'll keep it brief, but the bottom line is the Red Wings are effing their season in real time. I know that Dylan Larkin has been out for
In
five
real
out of,
time.
for
In real
five
time.
out of their last 6 games, but in those 6 games, the Red Wings have been outscored 32-11. That's
oh my
impossible.
God.
No fight.
That is impossible, and that includes losing by a combined 11-3 to the Coyotes and the Sabres. Those are 2 games that you think you got to have them, you got to win them, and you didn't even just lose. You just came out and you quit, and you showed no fight. And that's and by the way, in these last 6 games, they have lost by an average score of 5.3 to 1.8. Is that bad? That's bad.
That's very bad.
That's very bad. But the problem is, and the thing where me and maybe some people at the network, certainly some people at the network, and certainly some Wings fans will fight about is, I kind of think some Red Wings fans don't give an ish. And you might think, how? Because it's Hockey Town, right? But a lot of people, like Steve Bots are going to Steve Bot. And the problem to me is if they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to have some questions. I'm going to have some questions about why they made the move to sign Justin Holl in the offseason. It's been a disaster. Why they signed a guy like Jeff Petrie, who shouldn't be out there, that plays 19 minutes a night. A guy like Oli Mata. Alex Lyon, by the way, everybody's darling, is now 34th in goals allowed per game and 26th in save percentage. They did a lot to revamp the offense in the offseason, but the defense, a lot of those moves, I know Oli Mata was the offseason before, but Petrie and Holl were this offseason. It just isn't working. And at this point, I think you got to call a guy like Simon Evanson up and just see what happens, because if they don't make the playoffs, to me, it's a failure. I understand he came into a terrible organization, had all kinds of horrible contracts that he had to get rid of, but this is year 5. And that's why in year 5, I'm not saying be cup contenders. I'm saying make the playoffs. Even if you get swept, just get into the dance, because that to me will show progress. And if they don't, especially if them missing the playoffs also includes an implosion at the end of the season, to me that's unacceptable. I'm not saying fire them or anything. I'm just saying you can have a question, but people don't want to question your Lord and Savior, Steve Yzerman. And for the record, I understand why Red Wings fans hold him in such high regard. Nobody wants to associate the name Steve Yzerman with failure in the same sentence. because Steve Yzerman is the greatest Red Wing of all. It's either him or Nick Lidstrom to me. But as an executive, he's had a couple of shortcomings. But for the record, if they can turn it around, win these next 2 home games against Arizona and Buffalo and get back in the playoff race and make it, everything I just said is moot. But it's fair to question them when they're on a 6-game losing streak and they're getting blown out every game.
It is. And you know what? When they were kind of winning, when they were on this hot streak, especially when we went to the game, Alex Lyon was on one. And we talked about how good a hot goalie could be. And now that you see them kind of struggling, it is also corresponding with the goalies. What's good, KG?
Yeah, Sam, how much of this do you think is Dylan Larkin not being in the lineup, and does he stem the bleeding when he returns?
Well, Dylan, I mean, he's your 1C. He's obviously important, and I think the problem, though, is, and I get it, it's Dylan Larkin, but you're supposed to have a lot of depth offensively. And I get it, being a 1C is different than just being another guy with a lot of goals. But they now went from 12 guys with 10-plus goals to 11. And in these last 6 games, one of them in which Dylan Larkin played, they're only scoring 1.8 goals per game. It's just, you can't let one absence like that completely derail you. If you would have gone even, 2-4 in this 6-game stretch, you could just chalk it up to, Dylan Larkin's out, and they kind of treaded water. They're not even treading water. They're getting blown out. They're getting blown out by the Coyotes.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
It's like if Dylan Larkin means that much, then gosh, give him a lifetime deal.
Give him a lifetime deal. They kind of did. I mean, they gave him 8 years. I mean, and he is that important. He is your star. He's more representative of the modern Red Wings than anybody. But like, you can't just. That's not an excuse to completely implode an F year season. It's an excuse. It's a reason why you might not play at. That's why I said go 2-4 in this stretch, and I'm not even complaining. 0-6, didn't even get an overtime loss, couldn't even get a measly point in these 6 games. But just turn it around. You got you got some home games coming up. You better start winning. If you lose to Phoenix at home on Thursday, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's dope to see the chat kind of alive for this right now. A lot of people have bought into the Detroit Red Wings heading to the playoffs. They did give themselves a little bit of cushion for the pushing.
Yeah,
they really did. But now they got.
That's a
I thought you liked
right
that,
there.
brother. I thought you liked that. But now they have to start cashing in, man. They got to pick this thing back up. But hopefully, when Dylan Larkin returns, this whole thing will work out. We got to get to this next segment again. Chat family, hit that like button if you already have. Encourage somebody else to do so as well. The phone lines are open 313-552-6322. But we got to hear from.
Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for only $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust, on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Let's drive right down Woodward Avenue, man. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. I was about to say Wake Up Woodward, but you know what? We got to welcome the people in first. Chat family, thank you for being a very, very big part of this show. This segment on 313 Day, we got to get right into Detroit Lions, the free agency, the moves we've seen them make, and what it all means for this team moving forward. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he signs with Philadelphia Eagles for 3 years, $33 million.
You wipe that grin off your face,
Goodness
Slam.
gracious.
I'm not smiling. That's just my face.
I
bro.
know.
That's just my face.
I'm messing with you.
Goodness gracious. Broder,
Yes.
you got to break this down for us, man.
Yeah, so if there was, and I said this yesterday on Armani and Edwards, if there was one place I could predict that he does not go in the entire NFL, it's Philadelphia. It's the Eagles.
Man.
He hated their fans and their media. We see an apology from CJGJ after he signs, but he left. And you know what caused it? The dollar bills. 3 years, $33 million. That's a deal you can't refuse. I can't even hate him for it.
Yeah.
The Lions had a 1 year deal on the table, a little over what he was making last year. So he was getting a raise. He got an offer from the Lions, but it wasn't a multi-year contract, and that's what he's looking for. He's looking for someone to believe in him like that, and he got it. 3 years for $33 million. He's got a starting spot. The Eagles need him, and I expect him to thrive. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be great for that team.
Yep, yeah, and I started there because it instantly, my mind went to maybe the Lions just offered him 1 year deal, but they did make a corresponding move in the secondary. And you know my question, man, what does this mean for Brian Branch?
Yeah. So I actually don't think it affects Brian Branch much. I think this is a nod that Iffy Melifonwu was your starting safety now. Iffy and Kirby are your free safety, your strong safety. Those two safeties playing at the back of the secondary. Brian Branch, they're molding him to be that nickel safety, that nickel type cornerback who can probably fill in at any of the safety spots, fill in that cornerback a little bit. But I don't think it affects him as much as it does Iffy and Kirby. This is their secondary now to run, hopefully for the next couple years.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We've talked about it, and you're kind of implying it. Brian Branch played the majority of his snaps last season as a slot nickel corner, and he played very well. Yeah. He was their best cover man last year. Your best cover corner was Brian Branch in the slot. But the only thing I have to say to CJ Gardner-Johnson right now is,
I see what you did there.
Just like when you
don't do the queen wave.
Just like when you're when you're prematurely waving to the 49ers fans when you're only up 14 in the first half of the NFC Championship game. Goodbye to CJ Gardner-Johnson. And I want to say this before I get into the actual minutia of it all. Trust Brad Holmes. Yeah. Me and Easy were having a conversation back in the day because, as everybody knows, me and Easy were two of the biggest anti-CJ Gardner-Johnson people at the network, probably the biggest. And we had a private.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, we had.
Just to punctuate.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had,
like the only two.
We had a private conversation in which, and this was Easy's idea, not mine, so I don't want to steal it. He's just like, all these people, when CJ Gardner-Johnson doesn't get re-signed, they better be like Trust Brad Holmes, because there's a lot of people here who are basically a Trust Brad Holmes people, because how can you not? The results speak for themselves. It's just, I want that same energy with everything that he does, not Trust Brad Holmes, except when CJ Gardner-Johnson leaves. And that's
100%. I'll answer that because unlike you two, we will be able to say that because we're not standing on a hill because the dude waved his hand one time and said some shit. I do trust Brad Holmes. I wanted CJ Gardner-Johnson back, but hey, Brad Holmes has something cooking, so I'm cool with that. I'm not just like a slappy. I was a fan of his. I wanted him back, and I thought he was coming back. I'm not standing on a hill.
Talk to him, brother.
I trust Brad Holmes for sure.
Well, and I think a lot of people, I think this is where the anti-CJGJ and the pro-CJGJ crowd can kind of come together and commiserate and break bread. $11 million, 3 years, $33 million is a hefty contract for CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, but how can you turn that down if you're him? He's looking for long-term stability.
Bro, that is if you're CJ Gardner-Johnson, you'd be a fool not to turn that down. He might still hate Philly. He might still hate their fans. But here's the reality, and I think we can all agree with this.
He don't hate the money.
With the Detroit Lions, he was on a prove-it deal. and he did not prove it. It wasn't his fault. He got hurt, but he still got that long-term deal from the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he was very lucky that the Eagles secondary was just so bad last year. I don't think it was just because they were missing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think it had more to do with the fact that Darius Slay's declining and was hurt for 5 games, and James Bradbury went from an elite corner to a pumpkin. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they might look at him as like, they were more successful when he was there. He left. They were less successful. What changed? So I think that's what ultimately got him the long-term deal. And congratulations for him. Congrats to him. He did the right thing.
Yeah, it's the perfect cocktail mix for him, man. Like the perfect storm that popped up. And how can you turn down that bag, even at a place that you might not want to be at? It reminds me of a lot of times when we would have to, here in the state of Detroit, see our pro teams overpay a little bit more. It's a little bit of that premium. But those players would definitely come on by if the money was right. And that's what I think we see out of this CJ GJ thing. And I know you said like the 1-year deal from the Lions was probably a little bit more money in this first year, but the long-term deal gives them a little bit more security. And what it tells me, like you've already kind of alluded to, is we got to trust Brad Holmes, man. Let Brad Holmes cook. There's got to be some type of corresponding moves that he already has kind of, or that he's already seeing or projecting to be able to make sure this Detroit Lions team is taking a step forward rather than even just plateauing, which in my opinion, if you just plateau, that to me is not cooking. That's not cooking.
You asked about Brian Branch, and the more over the last couple of minutes while you've been talking, I've been thinking about it. While I don't think it affects him a ton, what Brad Holmes could be doing, and maybe this points to some of these moves, like signing Amik Robertson yesterday.
There we go.
Because Brian Branch can play all the safety spots, you can still have. You still have insurance if Kirby or if Iffy or if Brian Branch go down in that safety room. You can have Amik Robertson play the slot or play that nickel position, which I think he was around 50-50, or it wasn't as primarily slot as everyone's saying. I believe Al Karsten, who was on the heavyweights last night, put out a tweet that sort of broke down where his snaps were. But he can play inside. Cam Sutton can play inside. So if he ends up being your CB3, he can play that nickel position too, if for whatever reason Brian Branch needs to step up and play safety for Iffy or Kirby. So there's a lot of versatility or flexibility that they have.
This is my question for you too. Looking at the signings they've already made as it relates to the cornerback and the trade for cornerback as well, is this showing more faith in what they already have in Iffy, in Brian Branch and co?
I think so. Yeah, and I don't think they're done with the secondary. I don't know if there's going to be another free agent signing. They're definitely going to find someone in the draft. Just depends on how high or how low. But I think it's definitely a nod to Iffy coming on late. If they believe he can stay healthy, they're going to commit to him, especially on his contract. But he's got maybe more potential than C.J. Gardner-Johnson. What he did at the end of last year was wild. Imagine putting a defensive line together, which is that part of this team that they really got to finish addressing. Imagine if they do that. This helps out Iffy, Kirby, Mr. Ballhawk Kirby, Max Crosby, and Antonio Pierce. I mean, Robertson's a ballhawk.
Yeah.
Like this is I got trust Brad Holmes. I'll be a Brad Holmes bot.
Yeah.
It's perfectly okay to be a Brad bot
because
of the results. But go ahead, KG.
No, and I like the Amik Robertson signing a lot. He's a good, young, solid corner. He's the past 2 seasons he's played 17 games apiece, so that shows me that he can stay on the field, you know, because Brad Holmes has a thing about injured players. But he'll fill in right in that nickel slot corner spot just fine in this AG defense, man. And it shows me that they're serious about fixing this defense. He's now revamped the secondary for the 2nd straight year. They're coming in completely different. So I'm looking forward to what it's going to be, man. But I don't think he's done. I think definitely they will target a corner in the draft. I'm thinking 2nd round now. That 1st round pick is probably going to an edge rusher. But welcome to Detroit, Amik, man. And I'm looking for good things, man.
I mean, Amik Robertson, that's actually a pretty damn good signing.
Yeah.
I know when you hear it at first, you're a little bit underwhelmed, but he's only getting 2 years, $9.25 million, which probably tells me that they're not looking for him to start outside. But when he did last year, he actually played pretty well. Let me just give you some quick numbers because I think
Tell me about it.
People need to just need to hear them. He did primarily play outside corner last year. He played some in slot. He had a couple of games where he either started or played a bunch of slot snaps, but he's primarily an outside corner. He only allowed an 85.7 passer rating when targeted, which is very, very good. 3 touchdowns allowed, but he also had 2 picks, only 40 receptions for 445 yards, which is pretty damn good, I will say. And also, when you really look at his numbers, when you look at his production, he had 3 games last year that were objectively excellent. Listen to these. Home versus the Giants, he allowed 2 receptions for 17 yards. He had a pick, allowed a 21.9 passer rating when targeted. That is elite of elite. And the Raiders win that game 30-6, only allowing 6 points. Against the Vikings at home, he allowed 2 receptions for 15 yards, a 39.6 passer rating, the game in which they lost 3-0. It certainly wasn't the defense's fault. That's the game, by the way, that completely breaks the whole quarterback wins narrative. That's another story for another day. And the game at Kansas City, at Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, that was the last Chiefs loss of the season. He allowed 7 receptions, which you think, but for 42 yards, which tells me he didn't give up a bunch of big plays. He kept everything in front of him, and a 71 passer rating allowed. And in those 3 games, the Raiders defense only allowed 7.7 points per game. Amik Robertson had a good year last year, Amik Robertson, and he also had a couple moments of showing he could be elite. And they're not even really asking him to do, I don't think they're going to ask him to do what he did last year. But if Carlton Davis gets hurt, which he's shown he can do, if Emmanuel Mosley has trouble coming back from the ACL and gets hurt again, which he showed he can do, if Cam Sutton is having some struggles, Amik Robertson is right there. And he's shown he can play good football in the past.
And what all these moves say, they're not long-term commitments to these guys, but it's bringing out a ton of competition. I know that there's a phrase that I think gets overused and needs to be reserved, not only for guys like this, but being said from guys like Max Crosby and Antonio Pierce. He's a dog. He's a dog. I try to avoid saying that because who am I to call someone a dog? White boy sitting in this chair. But if Max Crosby is saying that,
you're a dog,
that's
bro.
real. That's
You're a
real.
dog.
So you got him and Carlton Davis competing for their next contracts, competing for a number 1 spot or starting spot.
Yeah.
Man, this is Brad Holmes' move 101. Build some competition in that cornerback room.
And alluding to that dog comment, I know, like, in my personal opinion, I take a little bit of stock in this, the fan base from the Raiders. I saw a lot of comments online saying, like, he is a dog. They're going to miss him. Lions got a good one, man. So the fans will always tell you the truth, if you pay attention. So,
and my last comment, I know we're right up on break. Were you going to say
go
something?
ahead.
Oh, my bad. These 2 guys that they've gotten, actually, these signings are cornerbacks from teams that had to make big payments to other players. Baker Mayfield had to be paid by Tampa Bay. They didn't want to give up Carlton Davis, but he's a cap casualty. The same with Amik Robertson. They would have loved to keep him on a relatively cheap deal, but they just paid a boatload to defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. So these are guys that these teams actually wanted to keep. They were cap casualties. I like the sound of that.
Yes, and Big Con 51 says something in the chat. Sam, what QBs were they? Referring to the excellent games that Amik Robertson played. Well, one of them was against some guy you might have heard of named Patrick Mahomes.
Patty Mac.
Yeah.
Boom.
He played a great game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a game in which the Raiders won. The last game which the Chiefs lost, by the way. I take some stock in that. I understand if you want to say against the Minnesota Vikings, it was Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins, and the other one was against the Giants. I don't know if Daniel Jones was healthy at the time or if it was Tyrod Taylor. But if you play a great game against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, I'm listening. But who am I?
It's not like the Lions secondary did so great against the Vikings either. A quarterback he's an upgrade.
Yes.
Carlton Davis is an upgrade. This secondary has been upgraded, and it's not done.
Yeah, definitely. And just before we get to this next segment, Mike T says, Brad Holmes' bot network is boring, uninteresting, and predictable. It's okay to question the moves Brad Holmes has been but during free agency. I don't think anybody said he's been perfect, but I think the problem here is this that we're running into. We've never seen a GM do this for our Detroit Lions team. Talking about winning the NFC North, talking about having his team improve every year that he's been at the helm, having this team in a position to effectively go to the Super Bowl. Those are results that ultimately matter a little bit more than what we thought he should have done or didn't do at last year's trade deadline, or what he did do or should have done at last year's draft. Until the results start to speak that this guy is not what he's appearing to be, then we have to kind of reserve comment. There are moves that everybody on this panel said, wish they kind of went this way, went that way. But ultimately, until those results kind of prove differently, then the narrative is still that he's doing his job and he's cooking right now.
Well, I mean, in being a Brad bot, I think at this point, what we're doing right now and what I'm certainly doing, I'm not saying that Marcus Davenport and Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson were moves that move the needle a ton for me, but when it's when it's Brad Holmes, you have to look at it as, how can this work?
Right.
If you're really being a Brad bot, you'll say that like every 7th round pick he makes is going to be a Hall of Famer. Then you're being annoying. But even last year, a couple of free agent signings that were considered small, David Montgomery and Graham Glasgow, how did they work out? Yeah. So even some of those small moves have worked out in the past. So, and all of these guys that they brought in are upgrades over what they had last year. They may not be great. It might not work out, but you can see what he's doing.
Yeah. If it's too boring for you, Mike T, there's other network stations on YouTube. There's plenty of stuff out there.
It's not like no, seriously, and it's not like we haven't criticized him. It's constructive.
It's just a troll in the chat who doesn't have a profile picture.
We literally had a whole segment yesterday about his free agency effectiveness.
Yeah.
Like,
if you want to talk Marcus Davenport, we'll talk about a free agent signing I don't agree with.
Yeah,
that's chill, bro.
Yeah. Broder's a dog.
Yeah. A lot of fucking hate.
Bro, over here, man. Spicy Broder. I like spicy Broder.
Oh, man.
Hey, be the spicy one today, Broder. Be the spicy one.
He's on one today. He's got an up your eye
Talk
today,
your
man.
shit, man.
You know what? Let's get to this next segment. Chat family, the phone lines are open. 313-552-6322. If you got something to say, call in and say it to Broder, Flan, or myself, JB or KG.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
Tell him,
Let's
JB.
go, man.
Hey,
Let's go.
Hey, after Broder's done dealing with some of the people in the chat, he might have to visit Dispo. Dispo dispensary today because March Madness is officially here. Dispo's giving away $1,000 to the best bracket at each location. Battle Creek, Romeo, Whitmore Lake, Hazel Park, Bay City North and South, or Ann Arbor. Go get your blank brackets now, fill them out, and return them by St. Patty's Day on March 17th to secure your entry for a chance at that $1,000. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Three. All right, glorious. The new glorious ice water bubble hash pre-roll is now with diamonds, everybody. They are consistently pushing to create the best cannabis experience for you. The perfect boost comes from added touch of pure THC diamond dust, allowing flowers with the highest terps, making the best even better. Glorious Cannabis, check them out online or at your local realtor at gloriouscanna.com.
Hey. I'm still on one, man. Broder, he's like, yo, I'm a dog. He's out here barking, man. Yeah, y'all better call in. I'm dead serious. Like the phone line, 313-552-6322. Welcome back, people, to Wake Up Woodward, man. What a start to the morning. Thank you guys for spending it with us. Share that stream, like the stream, all of that good stuff. But we got to get right back into this thing, man. The Detroit Lions, the NFC North. And what did you want to kind of start off this segment?
I wanted to ask you guys, if there's a man visiting the Lions tomorrow, he's coming to Allen Park, do you let him leave this building? DJ Reader, defensive tackle DJ Reader, is coming for a visit with the Lions front office tomorrow. And I'm sure Dan Campbell and the coaching staff. Do you let him leave that building? Is he a guy you're pounding the table for? We got to get DJ Reader. How do you feel, Flannel?
I think given what is available right now, yes, I'm pounding the table for DJ Reader. And here's why. In the last 3 seasons with the Cincinnati Bengals, he's had a PFF grade of over 80 in all of those years. He's not one that's going to really wow you with the stats, but he's that classic take on all the double teams, just basically clog up the interior and letting guys around him eat. I mean, here's a great example of what DJ Reader could help bring to the Detroit Lions. Have you seen what happened to Trey Hendrickson's numbers playing with DJ Reader? He had 14 sacks in 2021 and a whopping 17 and a half last year. And I personally think that Aiden Hutchinson's a better player than DJ Reader. And think about this. Does this defensive line sound okay, at least compared to what it was last year? You've got Aiden, you've got Marcus Davenport, James Houston, like kind of rotating, Ali McNeil, DJ Reader. That to me is a great example of investing in Aiden Hutchinson, because when you're DJ Reader, you're not going to put up the numbers. You're doing what you do in service of your future defensive player of the year, Aiden Hutchinson, and help making him that guy that puts up even greater numbers than he did last year. So yes, I'm pounding the table for DJ Reader. And oh, by the way, it'll help improve your already great run defense. There's nothing wrong, nothing I can even think of as a red flag for DJ Reader, except he's coming off an injury. But modern medicine, modern surgeries, right?
And I don't think that's a red flag for Mr. Brad Holmes.
Yeah, no.
Not one bit.
I think he's cool with it. And this is an upgrade. He's not the pass rushing defensive tackle that a lot of people clamor for, but he's an upgrade to Benito Jones. He's a run stuffing type defensive tackle. So that can unlock Ali McNeil. That can improve one of the top run defenses in the entire league. So I'm with you, Flannel. As long as it's not too expensive, that's the type of guy you keep in this building. You don't let it leave.
Yeah, and any help for Aiden Hutchinson is good help for the Detroit Lions. I am so serious. And just kind of hearing you talk about DJ Reader, the type of impact he can and would make with this Detroit Lions team, it's like, how can you, like you stated, with this caveat, at this point in free agency, how do you let him leave Detroit? When we put the graphic up on socials about the Detroit Lions talking or in talks or going to have talks with them this week, not only did I see Detroit Lions fans saying, you know what, at this point in time, we got to lock him down, but I saw other fans from other teams also in the comments and quote tweeting the post saying, you know what, Chargers, you guys got to go make something happen before he does anything with the Detroit Lions and such. You're seeing other fans as well recognizing the type of impact that he can make. And at this point in time, it's just like, you know what, if this is that piece to kind of put this defensive line over the top, help out Ali McNeil, help out Aiden Hutchinson, help them get beyond just pressures and into more sacks, man, you got to make this happen.
Well, and the thing is, too, and this is the elephant in the room, and Broder, I know you realize this, I don't want to see as many snaps from Benito Jones this year. I don't want to see as many snaps from John Kaminsky, with all due respect, but he had a bit of a disappointing year. I don't want to see you rely a lot on the Okwara brothers, for example. I don't want to see you have to make Tyson Alualu or Bruce Irvin moves. Obviously, James Houston was hurt, but like that's what bringing in DJ Reader would also do. You also have to look at how much you'd be improving and how much you would help everyone else around you. Guys like Ali McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson, who were already, I mean, in the case of Aiden and almost for elite last year.
Man, Bruce Irvin reached he reached like legendary status for one game, one play.
He did. That's all you can ask for. But no, he commands a double team. So.
Oh, repeat that, KG?
Yeah, no. So I'm saying he commands a double team, and as somebody, I know a lot of people didn't like he's kind of like an archetype similar to Ali McNeil, but I'll take 2 Ali McNeils on that defensive line, man, eating up that space in the middle. That's only going to help your edge rushers, man. So I really hope they can lock this down. This free agency looks a lot different if you add DJ Reader on that defensive line to what you've already signed in the secondary, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, and I almost forgot Lions legend Quentin Bohanna.
Yeah.
But those, and with all due respect to those guys, those are the names you were seeing on the defensive line last year.
You're spot on, dude.
And like the Isaiah Buggs situation as well. It was a bit of a mess. Even though the Lions were good and they won, the defensive line, there was all kinds of turnover, except when it came to like Aleem and Hutch. But if you get DJ Reader, that's just a guy that's going to start, that's going to play at Pro Bowl level. And as I've seen in the chat a lot, he's a space eater. And that's what you need from your defensive lineman. If you're not going to put up the big numbers, which some defensive linemen don't, you're going to be the one that allows everyone else to eat while you just make sure that Aiden or Aleem can face one-on-ones instead of double teams.
Yeah, Eduardo O'Neill says lock the door. Shift guy says, Broder, we shouldn't let Reader leave the city. Take him to a Tigers game. what this does, look at what the other NFC North teams have done so far in free agency. And again, they're running backs. It's not like my ideal move, but they've added DeAndre Swift. Aaron Jones has gone to the Vikings, and Josh Jacobs has gone to the Packers. Has gone to the Packers. Aaron Jones left the Packers for the Vikings. So they're the other teams in the NFC North are trying to establish their run game.
Yep.
A move like this would just add would just pick up that level of defense for this Detroit Lions.
Because we talk about keeping your elite units elite, and we know that the offensive line is one of those things for the Detroit Lions that you want to keep playing at an elite level. But the defensive line and how they stopped that run last year, that was one of the things we knew we could depend on and count on, and it made other teams that they were facing, the opponent's offenses, have to try different things and go away from even their strengths. Even when we played running backs that a lot of people and opposing fans said, and even some Lions fans said, you know what, they're going to gash us, they're going to gash us. They just didn't. All year, that defensive line continued to keep the run in check. You want to make sure that this Detroit Lions team, like I said again, doesn't just plateau, but takes a step forward, because you see a lot of the teams in this NFC North trying to take that step forward too, at making sure they can counter some of the Detroit Lions' strengths.
Yeah, you'd love to see the Lions run defense. If it was just as good as it was last year, we'd take that any day of the week. But Broder, you made a good point as well. If you look at the Packers, you can debate whether they upgraded at running back. I actually think they didn't. With the Chicago Bears, I think DeAndre Swift being in that room, it can make Khalil Herbert the number 2 and Roshan Johnson's like your hammer. But the Minnesota Vikings most certainly upgraded at running back, going from Alexander Madison to Aaron Jones. I know Aaron Jones has had some injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's had 3,000-yard seasons. He has a lifetime yards per carry of 5. So the Minnesota Vikings, if that move works out the way that they want it to, will go from having a bad running game to at least a great running back. And so the Minnesota Vikings, who you'll face twice, will be a more formidable rushing offense, at least on paper.
And Charles McClain makes a great point in the chat. Broderick Martin is still being developed, and this could be a good mentor for a guy. They play a similar style. Broderick Martin's going to be a run stuffer. So hey, DJ Reader to mentor him, or someone like Chris Jenkins in the draft.
Hey. Well, you know what? Look, I want to carry this on into the next segment as well. Because we got some callers on the line, so we're going to get to those callers in this next segment. Continue to talk Detroit Lions free agency. We're going to continue to talk about what this means for them in the NFC North and, honestly, their chances overall. But what I do want to do is just pose a question to the chat as well. If Brad Holmes' free agency hasn't been hitting for you, what is it that you wanted him to do? What was the strategies you wanted him to go after or to execute? And what players do you believe that are on other teams right now that you think, you know what, he needed to be able to push the button on those types of players? Just so we can kind of be fair, we want to be able to get your comments out there. As always, like we say, this chat is a big part of this show. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, I think we can handle that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
We can defend ourselves if there's something to defend. And if your home needs defense, right?
Elite.
Nice.
Hey,
Well done.
look, man, go to Guardian Alarm. They can offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
How would you like to win $50,000? It's the Woodward Sports $50,000 Bracket Buster Challenge, brought to you by Glorious Cannabis, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Register to wait for a chance to win at any Lady Jane's or Soroki's location, or just scan the QR code behind me. The shot clock is ticking. Register today at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com, and you could be $50,000 richer.
Ooh, richer. I like that, man. I want to win some money as well. You guys can too. Be active. And when it's not money, we also have a lot of giveaways, merch giveaways. We just did Merch Mondays. That was pretty cool. The winner was like, yo, I never win anything. So he was pretty excited about that. Yeah. Today is Wings Wednesday, so definitely peruse Twitter or Instagram for your opportunity to win a Darren McCarty mini hockey stick in case. It's a collector's item. It's something that you guys probably would like, man. Definitely get on there and check it out. And we're going to continue to have giveaways, opportunities for you guys to win. But welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. The phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. We're going to get to some callers, but first, chat family, as always, smash that like button. Who we got up on the lines, brother?
We got the Woodward Sports VIP, Freddie Felt 313. What's up?
Hey, what up, brother?
Woodward?
Hey, what up, though?
What up,
Hey,
though?
happy 313 day, everyone.
Happy 313.
You know what day it is. You know what time it is. Hey, I love this city, and I love our teams. JB and KG will get this reference. I'm the Triple H of Detroit. I love this business. First off, go Grizz. We're going dancing.
Let's go.
Dude, I was in the belly of the beast last night. I was in the Milwaukee section on the court side. Dude, I had this John Candy lookalike in front of me running his mouth all game. And my cousin hit me with a screenshot. This dude was caught in 4K digging boogers out of his mouth. Shout out to the Milwaukee fans. Shout out to the Milwaukee fans. I love Laverne and Shirley and cheese curds. That's where the buck stops there. When it comes to the Lions, man, I'm glad that some of the chat doesn't run the team, because they'd have us looking like the Panthers in that dumpster fire of an organization they have down in Carolina. Like, where are all my Brad We Trust fans? You know, some of y'all want to go back to the paper bag days, apparently. This man has been instrumental in resurrecting this team from the grave. So to quote Birdman, put some respect on Brad's name.
That's facts.
Like, this is getting goofy right now. This is getting silly. Like, we weren't 30 minutes away from a Super Bowl. You know, that's really all I have to say about that. I'll see everybody at the draft. I'll be home. I'll be keeping receipts on everybody kicking the can in the chat. You know, and if you have this whiny, funky, negative energy about the Lions, you can follow the Guardian Alarm mantra, and you can stay out of the draft and stay out of the Detroit city limits. That's all I have. One pride. Love everybody. Happy 313 day. What up, though? Detroit.
Hey,
Don't smash the like button, too. I'm out.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, man. Happy 313 day again, man. It's going to be some festivities. I know the Pistons have some giveaways, too, for that you find your way down there to the game, which has been pretty funny this year. But who we got up? Did you guys want to respond to any of that before we get to our next caller?
We can get to the next one.
Yeah, let's get to the next caller.
Yeah, we got Cordell up next. He's been waiting the longest. What up, Cordell? You on Wake Up Woodward?
Hey, what up, guys?
What up, though, Cordell? Always a good call.
Hey, I want to start this off real quick with talking some shit to these couch GMs in this chat. Hey, do y'all realize that signing injury-prone players means you get them cheaper? And Brad Holmes already told you dumbasses, you use free agency to fill needs, and you use the draft to get talent. So all you fucking bums out here talking about, these are dollar store signings. No shit, Sherlock, because he likes to draft his talent. Oh, my God. I guess we haven't figured this out in 3 years. Now that that's gone, hey, I got a wife, right? If we sign DJ Reader, I'm going to have some Reader. Because, oh, my God, bro, we going to the Super Bowl if we get DJ Reader. Calling it right now. We had the number 2 run defense in the NFL last year with a bunch of bums, as Sam put it. With a bunch of bums. Imagine what we could do with some dogs.
Yeah.
Bro. Also, Sam, I got into it with you earlier this season about TJ Gardner-Johnson. I retract that statement now. That bum couldn't hack it as a rotational player. It's all about me. So he ran back to daddy in Philly. Get that bum out of here. I do not care if he's better anyway.
Hey, Cordell, you know, Cordell, that was a very wise call on your part.
I was going to say, y'all should have seen Sam's face the entire phone call,
Just
man.
lit up.
Just lit up with vindication, man.
It's all right. It's all right.
Hey, and he deserves to right now because what was that bum thinking? Oh, I didn't come here to be a rotational piece. You didn't come here to play either because you disappeared in the NFC Championship game. All that shit you were talking to Debo and you couldn't back shit up.
Yeah, I mean,
nah, bro, we good. But guess what? Guess what? KG, I'm sorry, guy, but we're gonna be taking a fucking corner in the third round, not the second round, because we're not gonna have a second round pick. He's gonna use that first and that second. He's gonna move up. We're gonna get Jared Verse. And ain't nobody going to be better than us.
Hey, let's hope so. I would love that.
Cordell is cooking,
Hey, y'all
man.
take it easy, boys. I'll see y'all. Happy 313 day from San Antonio.
Hey.
I love you guys, but you doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, Cordell. Have a good day. Have a great 313 day as well. Hey, who do we got up next?
Hey, we got packed lines, man.
Let's go.
Eric,
Let's go.
Eric is up next. You on Wake Up Woodward? What's up, bro?
What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though?
Happy 313.
Happy 313. Happy 313. Man, I always listen. I be driving a lot, so I don't get to be in the chat a lot, but I listen every morning. So I just want to tell y'all guys, y'all the Roman Reigns of Detroit sports. Everybody need to acknowledge y'all.
Damn right.
And let's go.
These wrestling references, man.
Ain't it great? We the tribal chiefs.
Yeah, for real. Put the ones up.
Appreciate you, bro.
So back to, I agree with everybody who didn't call in. Man, chat, calm down. All Brad Holmes told y'all what he was going to do, and y'all still didn't listen to him. He told y'all.
He did.
He don't want to win free agency. He rather win in October, November. He's trying to win a Super Bowl. So all y'all who want the big splashy names, look who he brought in. He brought in dogs. He brought in players that can do multiple things. He's signing back his own. Calm down. If we get Reader, that'll be a great signing. I have no problem with what Brad's doing. But a lot of y'all in the chat, y'all want a big name player that we might give 40, 50 million a year to. He be good for 1 or 2 years and then he flame out. Then y'all will be crying about Brad shouldn't have never did that. Y'all put Brad in the win in the lose-lose situation because y'all don't know what y'all want. I don't think half of y'all know football. Because if y'all did, y'all would sit back and let this man cook. So I just want to say, y'all killing it. Hey, I love y'all. Have a blessed day. 313, stand up.
Hey, love you too, Eric, man.
Acknowledge
Appreciate
y'all.
it. Hey, thank you, man.
Great call.
Throw your ones up. Damn
Great
right,
chat, man. These callers have been on one, man.
Yeah.
They're calling in and saying it with their chest. You know what? Let's take one more before we get to the next segment.
All right, we got Devin on the line. Devin from Inkster, I believe.
Devin!
What's up, homie?
The
You on
pride
Wake
of
Up
Inkster,
Woodward?
Mr. Energy. Let's go.
It's 313 day, baby. Kool-Aid. This is for me. This is for you. This is for Kenny, our #1 draft pick.
Thank
this
you.
Is for KG. This is for everybody on Woodward staff, man. How y'all doing this fucking morning?
Doing
That's
great,
Hey,
brother.
good, man.
Hope you're doing good too.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better. Besides watching our despicable Red Wings right now,
It's bad.
I become a Red Wings fan, and I guess I got to stop becoming a Red Wings fan. The luck on me is now on the patch. Shit. No, man. I just want to just kind of iterate with like everybody else that's been calling in. Like, chill the hell out. Like we seen this. We have signed some questionable people, or what people call questionable, why we're not going for the big bag. You want Amon-Ra St. Brown back, right? You want J-Mo back next year, right? You want all these people that aren't going to take these discounts when they improve, right? You want all this team to be longevity. Fucking stop being fantasy draft pickers and start actually being NFL fucking pickers. It's a difference. We're not trying to win money. We're trying to win Super Bowls. We're trying to put a over 50-year drought out of our fucking minds. My dad wants to see it, and he's 65. So come on, guys. Can we stop with the gimme, gimme, gimme? Because half of y'all that had the gimme, gimme, gimme kind of attitude can't even get a damn wife. And you look at Sam Flannel and you look at Kool-Aid, they got wife. So what the fuck y'all doing out here? That's all I got to say, fellas. I got to get my analytics up so I can start talking about some of these players a lot more in depth, so I could come on this show and be actually smart. I could yell at Sam Flannel like he yells at everybody else. But y'all have a fucking great damn day. And go kill it like y'all been killing it for the last 4 weeks, man. Y'all killing it, and y'all making me proud, man. Stand up. 313 day.
Hey.
Everybody stand up.
Shout out,
Hey,
Devin.
thank you, Devin. Appreciate
Great
it,
call.
bro.
Great call.
Always, man. Devin, always a great call.
Yeah, Dev's the
Oh, man, and a good person, loyal
Yeah.
supporter as well, man. The chat and the callers, they have been excellent. Like I said, whether we agree, whether we disagree, hey, get your opinions out there, man. Call in if you want to say it with your chest as well. We're definitely going to get to some more callers. We're going to get into this next segment. But first.
There's a player I know we're going to talk about next, but there's a player I'm
Yeah.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that they
Yeah,
didn't
this
go
up.
after.
Tee this up.
I
All right.
just did. I'm not going to tell you
Tease
who
it.
it is.
Tease it, yeah.
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but there was a guy who would look really good in the Honolulu Blue that they could have afforded.
Yeah, and chat family, like I asked before, those players who have already been signed to other teams, put in the chat which one you believe Brad Holmes should have gone after. Definitely do that. But let's get into this next segment. Like I said, we posted the phone number in the chat, and it's 313-552-6322. Call in, guys. Call in. It's been awesome.
Yes, and if you're going to call in, you're obviously a big boy.
Hey!
You should go to Big Boy. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into fish and chips, their new Parmesan crusted cod, perfectly fried clam strip platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. A Big Boy must try the new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to their popcorn shrimp, shrimp Alfredo, or shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And don't forget, every Friday night, the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. See you at Big Boy.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Football season is officially over and spring training is right around the corner. However, Jack Labrador is 24/7, 365 days a year. Learn how to play now on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. And remember that once you go Jack, you never go back. Go to jacklabrador.gg.
Hey, let's go. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. We got the whole crew with us, man. The whole starting five. Mr. Flannel Sam Reynolds over here. He has a wife, if you didn't know already.
So do you.
So do I. She's so bad.
I'm married
too.
to the game.
He's married to the game. Mr. Broad over there. He's a dog. Woo, 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 woo.
313.
Hey, let's rock, man. It's your boy Brandon Dan K, Detroit Kool-Aid. We got Mr. Matt Broder over there, our Detroit Lions and Tigers credential beat writer and reporter. I cover the Pistons for this network too. But you know who the most elite are? Our booth, man. We got Detroit's #1 draft pick, KG, over here in the sound booth.
What up, man?
Hey, and them segments have been fire, man.
Thank you,
the
bro.
chat has absolutely loved them. Thank you for what you contribute. And we got Woodward Sports' MVP over here, Mr. JB Smooth. If he stops, the whole thing stops, man.
Oh, come on now.
Let's ride.
That's facts.
This is
No,
facts.
real shit.
It's facts.
That is real.
We're keeping it 1-0-0 on 3-1-3 day.
I don't know how to do anything in that booth. Nothing.
You gotta learn someday.
Yeah, but hey, look, chat family, smash that like button to support the crew. And just to show how on one y'all are as a chat family, we appreciate the support all the time. It helps us. It helps the network. It keeps us going as well. And those phone lines, like I said, 313-552-6322. You said the lines are still...
Oh, man, we still packed over here, man.
Still packed
Pause,
over here.
Pause on that.
Ew.
But, yeah, we got Eduardo. He been waiting the longest. Eduardo, what's up? You on Wake Up Woodward?
Good morning, guys.
What up, though, Eduardo?
Can you hear me?
It's a little low.
Hey, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
better now.
There we go.
So I believe the saying in Philadelphia goes, trust the process.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm a little skeptical, with some of the decisions that's been made. But in my opinion, the 23rd ranked scoring defense is not acceptable. And that needs to be fixed for next year. And all last year, our offense had to play basically close to 100% perfect for us to win games. And I would like a defense that when the offense disappears for the third quarter, can say, I got you, and we're going to hold this other team to field goals, or we're going to stop them until you get your stuff together. I'm a believer that the Lions defense didn't cost them the NFC title game, because we knew the defense that we had last year, which was, we're going to get you 2 stops, build a lead. The offense cost us the NFC title game last year. That being said, I'm going to choose to trust the process. I hope we can bring in somebody to help Hutch. But we also have a guard that we got to replace. So I hope Brad gets to cooking, and I hope that, the draft, Brad drafts the future defensive rookie of the year. That is all, and happy 313 day, guys.
Hey, happy 313 day, man. That was a great call.
Yeah,
it was fair. It was balanced.
Yep.
And he's giving kind of this Brad Holmes trust, even if he does disagree with some of the direction. I get that, man.
Yeah, and that's I agree with him, though. If the defense isn't improved next year, if the Lions fall short of expectations, then you're free to criticize Brad Holmes. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want anyway. But
Yeah.
I think everybody's point is you might not agree with everyone, and shout out to the callers for kind of having this same mentality. But the results do speak for themselves as of today.
Yeah, and Eduardo, he's been critical of the lack of moves, respectfully critical, but still open to the possibility. That's why that was a great call, because he sees the issues that are still there, but I think he's realized over those last couple of days, all right, take a step back. Let's trust in Brad a little bit more than I had. And hey, if he doesn't make the moves, there will be a problem. And there was one move that he didn't make yesterday.
Yeah, it did.
That
Let us know, brother.
Kind of hurts, and it's Daniil Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's Daniil Hunter. It's because of the length of the contract. Not only was the price reasonable or in the budget of the Detroit Lions almost perfectly, but the fact that it was a 2-year contract. If I knew that was on the table, I would be fist pounding it before this happened. Like,
Pause.
2 years. I know, as it was coming out, I was like, man, this doesn't sound so great. But
I heard the hesitation.
my whole thing about the only thing keeping me from wanting him here no matter what was you're going to have to pay him a boatload of money for 4 or 5 years, at least 3 years. And that just coincides with all these contract extensions. 2 years, you can still pay everybody. His contract is done before these extensions come up. So why not take that shot for 2 years?
It would have been perfect for what we keep calling the Detroit Lions Super Bowl window. And you know, I just want to kind of really quickly get everybody's opinion on this, because I feel like if there was one player that's already been signed that all of us are like, oh man, I feel like it's Danielle Hunter. But what do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest, and me and Broder talked about it briefly off the show. If we heard today, us Lions fans, that Danielle Hunter signed with the Detroit Lions for 2 years, $49 million, you know what we'd be saying?
Say it.
The Lions are winning the Super Bowl next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, they still might, and they still have, I think that has to be their expectation, but what the Detroit Lions, what we think they maybe should have done is what the Houston Texans did. They're investing in a great young team that had all-world rookie superstar C.J. Stroud, Defensive Rookie of the Year Will Anderson, giving him that bookend edge rusher that was lost with Jonathan Grenard, along with, oh, by the way, Danico Autry. And they also have rookie Tank Dell, a couple of young guys on rookie contracts like Nico Collins and Derek Stingley Jr.
Texans are nasty.
They are. And that's what we were kind of saying. They're in their window right now, too, and they invested in Danielle Hunter. And the Lions have not made a move even close to that level of moving the needle. I'm not saying I have anything wrong with what the Lions have done, and if they sign DJ Reader, that would be a needle-moving move to me. But Danielle Hunter, man, when I saw what he actually made, I was just like, damn.
Yeah. And just to follow up, because a lot of people in the chat are accurate in that he very likely took a hometown discount. He's from Texas, or he's from Houston, so going there to play close to his family and still getting $48 million guaranteed.
Right.
I understand that. So we don't know if that offer was actually on the table for any other team.
And
it might not have been, but we're looking at this hypothetically, and Sam hit it correctly. If he was on this team today, we'd be saying, all right, we're booking our trip to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's not like Houston is some team to just kind of write off. This is a team that also, with him on the squad, it kind of pushes them up a notch, man. It really does. JB, I know that you were in our group chat. You were hurt. You were down bad after this signing was announced.
I was a little hurt. I'm not gonna lie. When I seen this news come out,
Just a little, bro.
All right, I was extremely hurt. I was a little pissed off. I'm like, damn it, come on. Like that was like the saving grace hope that you're just like, oh, we got Danielle Hunter in the bag. You just kind of had this in the back of your head, like, yeah, he's definitely coming to Detroit. Brad Holmes is working on something. Then the news came out, and you're like, all right, well, on to the next one. But a shout out to Houston. Like that team that they're building over there is definitely very young and talented.
Yeah.
I would be scared of them this upcoming season, but damn, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter together, they're about to fuck shit up.
Man,
Derek Stingley. They're a good team. They're a good defense, a good young team. They got Joe Mixon too.
Yeah, Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell. I mean, they're in their window and they're investing, and they're also getting Will Anderson some more help, the help that he lost with Jonathan Grenard. But go ahead, KG.
Hot take, not so hot. In 3 years, the Texans might be a Super Bowl team, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, if they stay healthy as a team, D'Amico Ryans over there, man, they got a good squad. But the Lions did miss out on the opportunity to have the best bookend edges in the league, man. And it's not so much Danielle Hunter. I think it's more so that we want to unlock Aiden Hutchinson. If we can get Aiden Hutchinson to a level where he's producing 14 to 15 sacks a season, man, oh my God, this Lions defense will take a whole new look, man. But it is what it is, man. Especially when you hear that they tried to trade for him at the deadline last year, you thought that it really could have been in play. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's a business. I'm not mad at it. And hopefully we can just supplement that in the draft and hopefully maybe another signing. Who knows? But I'm confident in Brad Holmes, man. We're gonna see how it looks. So.
Yeah, definitely. And shout out to my cousin as well. He's a loyal listener, man. His name is Lawan. Yeah, this guy, you want to talk about getting my love for Detroit sports. He definitely helped to supercharge that for me. He hit me up. He said, another thing to remember is that Texas has no state tax, which means his contract is more lucrative and attractive. So it's like hometown, no taxes on this thing, makes it a little bit better for you, and you're on a squad that you're helping push that much closer to a Super Bowl. It fits for him, but for us, it's still like, man, dog, that kind of hurts.
Well, and that's the thing, and this is what kind of bothers me in the chat a little bit, because Just a Fan, I don't think has ever been an advocate of making any move ever. And I'm not trying to be mean, but he comes at with like, Lions were not in the market at all. It takes both sides. Quit acting like you guys are playing Madden.
They were in the market.
I personally don't think that. Because I'm just going off of the contract that he got, because there's nothing else I can go off of. I don't think I think the Lions could have afforded 2 years, $49 million for Danielle Hunter. I don't think that would have been just this like potentially franchise crippling move. And like KG said, and I think it's as obvious as the day is long, Danielle Hunter and Aiden Hutchinson would be the best bookend edge rushers in the NFL. Already with what you're going to see next year, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are going to be one of the best bookend edge rushers in the NFL, especially if Will Anderson steps up his game. They probably will be. That's how important a Danielle Hunter is, and it stings a little bit because another team that's in their Super Bowl window went out and made that move. And I'm not saying I'm disappointed with the Lions free agency as a whole. Like I said before, give me DJ Reader, and I'm happy as a clam. But Danielle Hunter, there were rumors he was asking for $30 million. And we were kind of like, oh, okay, the Lions aren't going to pay that. He got 24.5. That's not Madden. $30 million for like 4 for 120 might be Madden, not 2 for 49. Come on now.
No, that's real.
That's real, man. That's real. That's a little bit of bad news, man. Danielle Hunter signing with the Houston Texans and not the Detroit Lions. A little bit of good news, though, for us is that we still have Brad Holmes.
Yes.
We do believe he's going to cook. He's been cooking. The Detroit Lions have only improved underneath his tenure. But I got a little bit more good and bad news to tell you about. First, some bad news. Insurance rates are going up across the board in the state of Michigan. I don't think any of us are surprised by that. But the good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your current carrier isn't slipping in any extra fees or raising your deductible. You can call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent you.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Hey, you guys, are you tired of wearing that same old Detroit sports merch?
Duh.
Well, let me tell you right now, it's a new era in sports wearables with new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. I know, those are dope. Look, go to WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab. We've got new designs dropping every single Monday. We just dropped this LFG Red Wings design. We got them on hoodies. We got them on T-shirts, probably on hats as well, too. But we also got the Brad Holmes guy. If you're a Brad Holmes guy, you need to get that shirt right now.
I'm a Brad Holmes guy.
I know, I'm a Brad Holmes guy, too. I got to go get one of these, too.
We got to get DJ Reader one of these.
DJ Reader definitely needs one of these. If someone can buy one and actually drop it off to him personally tomorrow, that would be amazing. But check out WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab, and get hooked up for next season.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Again, thank you all for starting your day with us. The chat has been amazing. The callers have been amazing. The comments, the discourse, everything. We couldn't ask for anything more, except for if you haven't hit that like button, smash that like button. The phone number is pinned in the chat, and I will, for our people that listen on the podcast side of things, 313-552-6322. If it's just audio, call in. We want to hear from you all as well, and we'll take a few calls right now.
Yeah, so we got Chris has been waiting the longest. I think he said he's that guy 62 in the chat.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that guy.
what's up, Chris? You on Wake Up Woodward?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What up, though?
Happy 313 day, indeed. So,
Yes, sir.
I've been hearing everybody just, talking about the free agency for first day, just, observing everything that's happened. What I've noticed is that it's a lot of players that went. I mean, first of all, a lot of teams had that initial sticker shock that I was talking about, that $50 million. Christian Wilkins getting that 110 with the one-on-one guarantee, 3-4 year deals. Even CJ catching that 3 for 33 that he was trying to get from Philly the last time. If we've noticed from what we went through with the horrible Quentin Trisha era, that's what they did. They bought into players on those long-term contracts that were absolute trash and did nothing for this team. So he's come in with more of this I guess you could say Julius from Everybody Hates Chris perspective, just more or less being frugal with, putting the money in all these different pots, and then these skill players in that, 2-year rental. Granted, that Daniil Hunter thing, it hurt, and I've been critical of this free agency this year because I wanted more aggression. However, I understand that on the back end, even though we would get that short-term pleasure with, getting to the top and getting to the championship game, that when it comes time to pay the piper, to pay the foundation, we might not have that money to do it. So I get it, and as much as I want that flash, DJ Reader would be incredible, but I also have to understand the things that we don't see. We haven't seen Matthew Betts on the field in training camp. Houston is coming off, so we still have evaluation and time to review that talent as well. And the free agency isn't over. This is just the first half, which is, again, where everybody puts in all that money. And I really think that the increase of the cap is, Neil always talks about the cap, is that, that instantly made people buy now, buy now, buy now. But as you can see, even last time when we didn't go into that buy now atmosphere, look at where we got. So, granted, I'm very skeptical. I'm not happy this morning. I'm like, yo, you got to hit the trigger. But at the same time, I still see what he's done, and I can trust it. So I can still say, yeah, no, give it to me. I want it. Pay the man. But at the same time, I see the plan for the team. So that's it.
That's a pretty balanced call. And I think that's really our sentiment as well. Are there moves that we wish happen? Yes, but can we kind of see more of this bigger picture? And as long as the results continue to be what the results have been, it puts us in a position where we're more or less like, okay, we're gonna ride with you. We're gonna trust you a little bit here, Brad Holmes.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was more or less intimating in the last segment. I'm not saying that Brad Holmes is a bum for not picking up Daniil Hunter. Hello, just a fan for that. Miscasting me like you always are. My point was more to looking at what he could potentially do for the Houston Texans, another team in their Super Bowl window with a lot of players on rookie contracts. Granted, it's easier for like the quarterback rookie contract versus Jared Goff. He's going to get extended. I understand all of that. It's more of like the Houston Texans really invested in their in going for a Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Lions didn't. It's just I have a little bit of like, wow, this Houston Texans team is going to be nasty. And if you want me to up your hot take, KG, Houston at KC, AFC Championship game this year.
Boom! You won't pick Houston over KC in that game.
Absolutely not.
On brand. On brand.
0.0.
You said that these lines are still packed, bro?
Yes, they are.
Y'all are on one Chat family.
I think this is a new caller. We got Mac on the line.
Mac.
What's up, Mac?
Mac Jones.
You on Wake Up Woodward?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Mac? Happy 3-1-3 day.
Give me the cheese.
Happy 3-1-3 day. So I'm a first-time caller out of Atlanta. I fly up to all the Lions games. I'm a season ticket holder. And I just want to say, man, I'm just beyond frustrated because I feel like we were, like you guys said, we were 30 minutes from a Super Bowl this past year. And I don't feel like we made any big moves that would help this defense out. Like, all year we struggled. Our offense kept us in the games and kept us pushing forward. And I feel like we needed a couple playmakers, big-time playmakers, to help us out. We had all this salary. I mean, I heard what Brad Holmes said, that don't expect many big moves out of us. But at the same time, like, us Lions fans, man, we are impatient. Like,
we've been going through this for over 50 years. And me living in Atlanta, I get tired of hearing guys say, okay, well, y'all never made the Super Bowl. Y'all never won the Super Bowl. Like, it's frustrating. So everybody's frustrated and everybody's tired of the same thing over and over again. And I do trust Brad Holmes, but at the same time, you see what the Texans have done. Like, the Eagles have shown that you can push these salaries back and restructure these deals to keep things going forward. And for us not to make no big moves, it's frustrating to see Wilkerson go, to see Daniil Hunter go, not getting a shutdown cornerback. Our passing game was terrible. And to see CJ go, we're one safety away. If one of our safeties go down, we're toast. So it's very frustrating, like, mainly me flying all the way to Detroit every home game and just actually having something to cheer for last year, and to see us not make no big moves at all. I had to call in today. I had to call in just to say that, because I agree with a lot of guys in the comments. I totally agree with them. Like, it's frustrating. We're tired of the same thing. Because if we take a step back, we didn't make any big offensive moves. So if the offense has a backslide and the defense can't keep us into it, what's going to happen? I don't want to be in the same situation, have this great season last year, and then we turn around and we go back down. Because Green Bay got better, Chicago has gotten better, everybody in the NFC has gotten better. The Eagles, like, you just name them, they got better. So for us to sit back and not do nothing, it's frustrating, man. And I had to call in today.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did call in, Mac. Thanks for thanks for doing that and giving us your perspective. Coming up every game from Atlanta, I want to hear from you, because that pressure is on. You're investing your time and your money into coming up here. So I totally understand the frustration and not going after those big names. My only pushback, and I can't push back on a specific player that they've signed that would be better than Daniil Hunter or Christian Wilkins, but I would say in terms of getting better this offseason, it wasn't a player, but they did get Ben Johnson coming back. They got Aaron Glenn coming back. They went out and upgraded their positional coaches. Deshae Townsend's here leading the secondary. We got Terrell Williams leading the defensive line. Those guys all here in an organization that their strategy at this moment is draft and develop. Those are big moves, especially Ben Johnson coming back on the offense. Yeah. That alone, you got better. And if you think Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Jared Goff working with J-Mo all offseason, those are players that are getting better during the offseason. Those are your studs that you drafted. And I know people don't want to wait to save your money for those guys. I understand where that's coming from and how you can manipulate the salary cap, but those guys were your draft picks, A, but B, they're also superstars. They're big money. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, that's just not re-signing the guys you drafted. That's re-signing guys who turned into superstars, and Penei Sewell at least is going to reset the market for offensive line. So I think there are things happening. Brad didn't go address wide receiver yet. And just as an example, it's a deep draft at wide receiver. Yeah. There's still offensive moves they need to make on the line. It's a deep draft on the offensive line. All these teams are paying big money for Jonah Jackson and Kevin Dotson and Robert Hunt, the Panthers, spending all this money. But these are the positions that the Lions need. They're also deep in the draft. So he's going to make some moves that we're not expecting while having some guys that they actually need fall to them in rounds 2, 3, and 4. Because all these other guys are attacking the positions that are not deep in the draft.
Yeah, it's like I said before, there's a scale here. There's what Brad Holmes is trying to do right now, and that's what a lot of people are focused on, and they forget the other half of the scale is what Brad Holmes has done. Those things are still cooking. Those things are still improving. Those things are still getting better. I'm not going to write off the 8 players that made the PFF top 100. I'm not going to sit here and just say, you know what, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, those are the types of guys that just plateau and they're just good with what they have right now. I don't believe that. I believe that you're going to see an improved Aiden Hutchinson. I believe you're going to see an improved Amon-Ra St. Brown. I believe you're going to see an improved Penei Sewell. I think you're going to see players like Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta come back, and Jack Campbell and Brian Branch all return and actually improve. And I do think that that's one half of the thing that we have to talk about. And when you're talking about those names, what is the common theme there? Guys that Brad Holmes brought in. We still have the draft. He brought in starters. starters through the draft.
We're not used to that.
We're not used to that. And we wanted to be like, what is he doing at the last year's draft? What is he doing at the trade deadline? I'm going to continue. That's going to be a refrain you hear from me, because that has to influence a little bit of how I feel. If this was any other regime, I probably would be like, what is going on? But because it's Brad, and because those results are speaking, and the other half of the scale is what he's already done is still paying dividends, that matters to me.
Yeah, and you look at, I know a lot of people will say that a lot of teams in the NFC improved, particularly in the NFC North. The one thing I will say, though, is I would take Brad Holmes' drafting acumen up against any other team's GM in the NFC North. I know that the Packers have made some nice draft picks in recent seasons, but Brad Holmes clears every single one of them. And just to add to what you said earlier, Broder, you talked about position coaches and all that. Carlton Davis, I mean, look at his passer rating allowed in man versus Cam Sutton's last year. Carlton Davis might be a guy that makes it so that Cam Sutton isn't left on an island against Justin Jefferson or DJ Moore or Puka Nacua or Mike Evans. And that was, even though I know you like him, one of the weaknesses of the team, which ironically, they won most of those games anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they're adding smaller, not long-term pieces to these. They're bringing in competition with Meek Robertson and with Cordell Davis, or with Carlton Davis. Cordell's called a couple times. Carlton Davis. And I'll also say there was a point you made that I'm trying to remember, and I think it's slipping my mind right now. But I have a question to pose for you before we get to the next caller. Would you trade right now Sam Laporta for Brian Burns plus $100+ million extension?
No, of course not.
No. I hear a lot of people saying like Brian Burns is all you had to do is give up a 2nd or 5th round pick. Sam Laporta was the pick. Brian Branch is a 2nd round pick. Yeah. We don't know what Brad's going to do in this draft. It could produce another one of those guys. It might not, but it did produce them in the past. Like, it's happened in the past. And although the Lions haven't taken any steps forward, I put the San Francisco 49ers, I put the Lions at number 2. Other teams have closed the gap a little bit, but I still have the Lions at number 2.
Sure. Yeah, how could you not?
They have closed it, and I get the frustration, but I don't think anybody's closed the gap enough where they've overtaken the Lions. Definitely not the Bears, Packers, or Vikings.
Absolutely not.
Cordell said, shout out to Broder for knowing that I'm a lockdown.
My dog. Cordell. Dog.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's, before we get into this next segment, man, I want to definitely throw the phone lines back out there, 313-552-6322. Chat and the callers has been amazing. Continue to hit that like button, man. Show the network that you guys are definitely on one right now. And I got another way for you guys to win some money by walking into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and enter for your chance to win the $50K Perfect Bracket Challenge. That's right, $50,000. Walk into Lady Jane's, you'll be registered. Lady Jane's, haircuts for men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports has all your Detroit sports coverage all day long, and you know what it is, man. The Woo Crew in the morning, every day 8 to 10. But right after that, we got the golden voice of Neil Rule and Red Wings legend Darren McCarty on Big D Energy every day 11 to 1. But if that's not enough for you, we got Armani Edwards and Maz every day 2 to 4, and you can round out your night with the heavyweights, man. Always bringing that good draft analysis and just the heat, man. Those my guys every day 5 to 7, man. So Woodward Sports is your Detroit sports network, #1 all day long on air and social media.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. We're celebrating a beautiful 313 day. The chat has been amazing. The callers have been awesome. Flannel Sam back on the desk with us as always doing. We got our starting five here. It's been awesome. Mr. Matt Broder, our Detroit Lions, Detroit Tigers credential beat reporter. In our elite booth, our illustrious booth, we got Mr. KG over here, Detroit's #1 draft pick, and Woodward Sports' MVP over here, JB Smooth. And the chat has been a little upset that you ditched your amazing blue hat, brother.
It wasn't amazing blue hat.
It
Come
was.
on now. It wasn't amazing
The
blue hat.
colors
Besides, I like this one a little bit better. Homemade. I like that.
Oh, nice.
Homemade. You know, and before we get into, I know we got what's trending with JB Smooth on the way. We got mailbag. We got more callers. We can continue to talk this Detroit Lions thing. We do cover all four sports. I am the credential beat writer for the Detroit Pistons for the network. And we got our Woodward Pistons Wednesdays. We did push this back so we can continue to accommodate a lot of the callers in this Lions talk because
it's hot right now.
It's hot right now, man. It's hot right now. But we'll talk Pistons just a little bit, man. And it's nothing to defend right now. It's not much to even talk about for this year.
Yeah.
But in terms of where this team is headed and what you guys want to see them do so that they can find themselves in a position similar to what we see with these Detroit Lions. And they made a rapid ascension. It feels like it was just yesterday when we saw Brad Holmes and Troy Weaver out at Detroit Lions training camp. And since then, we've seen Brad Holmes ascend, and we've seen Troy Weaver getting into it with fans. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But KG, I know you had some things as well about the Detroit Pistons, man. What's good, brother?
I don't know what the direction is going forward, like in terms of offseason, because obviously the season's almost over. We have to start focusing more on what the next season is going to look like. What is the strategy? Do you think they have a strategy for the draft or free agency coming up?
Yeah, and you know what? I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but the strategy for free agency is to be able to see what they can kind of pluck from other teams who are looking to kind of implode their current situations. You got the Bulls, who've just announced again that Zach LaVine is somebody they're going to try and trade again in offseason. You got the Tobias Harris rumors that's been out there. You got the teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves as well as the Pelicans who are talking about selling off some of their players as well. But this thing is always going to boil down to what they do to put around your star player in Cade Cunningham. That guy's a star, and he's been on an absolute tear, averaging about 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists and 5 rebounds per game. We all want to see if he can kind of get to that 22, 23, 5-5 plateau. And next year, I'm looking forward to him really pushing this thing up a notch. And what we've seen, though, out of what sticks, because that's what really matters. What sticks and what doesn't are guys like Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren. We've even seen Asar Thompson starting to round in the form, and Simone Fontecchio. Definitely want to see him back. And I got to for the people out there. James Wiseman, he's definitely shown some improvements. I know that they said that Taj Gibson has helped him as well as a lot of the work that he's put in. One of those guys that's first to the gym. Jalen Duren was talking about it as well. He's one of those guys that's first to the gym and he sets a standard.
Yeah.
He's definitely improved a little bit. It's nothing where I'm saying, hey, you don't start the guy, but in terms of just giving a person their due props, I definitely got to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and obviously, and we talked about it before the show. I made some of my feelings known on the Pistons on Monday's BDE show. If you want to go back and check that out, you can. But I'm going to try to be a little bit. Thank you. I am going to try to be a little bit more constructive right now. And one of the things about this season, and Kool-Aid, I'd like your input on it, that hasn't made sense to me is that you're right. There is a lot of young talent that we can get behind and be like, you know what? I like this guy. Cade Cunningham, he's not an all-star, but he's putting up all-star numbers. If the team was winning, he would have been an all-star. You look at Jalen Duren, who's a walking 14 and 12 on great efficiency, although his defense isn't quite what you'd like. He's turned into that walking double-double. I think he's 5th in the NBA in rebounds. You look at rookie Asar Thompson, who is objectively having a more impactful rookie season than Scoot Henderson, his brother Amen, guys like Taylor Hendricks and Jarris Walker, who a lot of us Pistons fans wanted them to draft instead of Asar. I think he's been a net positive other than the fact that he can't shoot a lick, but with everything else he does, he's been valuable. You look at Marcus Sasser, a 25th overall pick who's shooting 40% from three. All of that, and the Pistons are still an 11-win team. I, for one, and a lot of people might not like this, I'm a little worried about Ivy. You look at the month that he's had,
fair.
some of the numbers that he's put up, some of the moments where it's like maybe Cade and Ivy can't play together. I mean, you look at, I'll give you a quick for instance. Remember that stretch, and I know we don't want to look back on it because these were painful, the Orlando game and the New York Knicks game. The games that you could argue that the refs stole at least one win, maybe two from the Pistons when they played some really good teams close. You also might look at that if Jaden Ivey didn't play terrible, maybe they win those games. In those combined 2 games, he shot 6 of 24 and 3 of 10 from 3, while averaging 11 points a game. Jaden Ivey's got to be better. And lately, when Cade's played some of his best ball, Jaden Ivey's played some of his worst. And I know that he was misused at the beginning of the year, and there's all kinds of issues with Monty Williams. But to me, with all of the young talent that they've assembled, it just doesn't make sense that they're this bad, that their record is this poor as of right now.
You know what? I'm glad you actually said that. And I definitely want to shout out the chat family and Pistons fans in general. They're saying the same thing. I want to turn away, but I can't stop watching these Pistons. I got to talk to a lot of different season ticket holders, and I have to ask them this question. I got an article coming and some video as well. They're like, look, we're in the trenches. And one family that's watched the Detroit Pistons, they've been season ticket holders since the mid-'80s. They've seen 3 championships. They've seen 2 different eras of winning Pistons basketball built. And they do say that when they look at these young players, that they actually have a lot of optimism about where this thing is going. In their perspective, that to me should matter a lot. I know a lot of us who are kind of zoomed up and up close on this thing, it's just like, what is going on right now? But you know what 2 things, getting to talk to Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart at the Detroit Pistons practices and the press conferences after the game, there was something that they said that I kind of let slip my mind. I'm going to actually kind of do an article on this. Both of them have talked about the fact that they like the guys that they got on this team right now. Stewart actually talked about the fact that the people that are here right now actually try hard. And when you think about the fact that they had 8 players traded out or waived and 8 players brought in at the trade deadline, and that was even, I think, before they did the Marvin Bagley and the Isaiah Livers deal. Now, all of a sudden, Jalen Duren as well, he's saying, hey, look, man, early on we had guys that were always injured. We had guys that might not have played defense the same way that we do today. But this current squad, and we've had a hard time building up our chemistry, but we got the opportunity to right now to build up some chemistry and to be able to play, and we like the way that we're playing. I did a comparative analysis. Before the trade deadline, the Pistons were 3-36. That's crazy. Since then, they are now 8-17. With a couple of those wins or a couple of those losses that could have absolutely been wins. And we talked about, can the Detroit Pistons have a similar stretch to what they did in Cade's rookie year post All-Star break? And you're starting to see this team play a little bit better. We talked about the defensive efficiency going from last in the NBA before the trade deadline to now middle of the pack. And the most important number to me, and that's why I keep calling you guys sickos. I was out there for the Detroit Pistons open practice and lines back to Woodward. Every door had lines going back to the street. And every single game, yes, there's going to be some games where it's a little light in the seats. But the Detroit Pistons are top 20. And during this last 3 years, top 20 in the league in home attendance.
That's crazy.
Over teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Houston Rockets, the Phoenix Suns. Detroit sports fans, you know what? On a 313 day, I will celebrate you all because you guys continue to stay in the trenches. And I get it. When the teams aren't the best, those numbers in the arena are going to dip. But how in the world are you guys keeping this thing to top 19? And I think it's what people say. They can't look away. I think it's this one part where you got these young players that you like, you know what? We're almost right there. And you saw the Houston Rockets in one offseason went from just about as trash as the Detroit Pistons to a team that a lot of their fan bases said, you know what? We like this jump by just adding one kind of splash free agent and Dylan Brooks. Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and they took that leap. You look at the Orlando Magic, they have a couple veterans on their squad, like a Gary Harris and like a Wendell Carter Jr., and it helps to really stabilize and bolster what Paolo and Franz Wagner are doing for that team. They are on the cusp of being able to make the same types of moves to bring this team forward a lot. The Cleveland Cavaliers, before they went on their run, they went from trash to an amazing turnaround in one offseason. We saw the Houston Rockets do it. And Phoenix Suns, when Monty Williams got there, they also made a significant jump from about 19 wins all the way up into the 30s.
Yeah, they did.
So it's like this team has the recipe, but Troy Weaver's going to have to be in his bag. The one thing I can tell you is this. I started off as a trust in Troy guy. When those drafts and those draft picks were coming in, we saw him going and picking 2 and 3 guys in the first round. It was just like, yo, we've never seen this much, like this accumulation of young talent ever. All we had to look forward to in the years past was, okay, we got Greg Monroe. Anything else? Nope. Okay. All right, hey, we got Brandon Knight. Anything else? Nope. Hey, we got Andre Drummond. Oh, we got Stanley Johnson. Just singular picks and singular drafts, and it wasn't moving us anywhere. Now we do have a decent young core. According to the stats that you put up there, and I think people with the eye test can tell that they got a decent young core, but they have to do the right things around this team, and we all know that. It goes beyond just shooting. They need toughness. Before they put any more shooters on this team, I want to see an identity out of this squad that exudes absolute toughness and that grit and that physicality that we've always associated with Detroit Pistons basketball.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If I'm going to, like I said before, I want to choose to be a little bit more constructive today. They're currently on a 6-game homestand. They won 2 out of their first 3. Go beat Toronto tonight and go split with Miami. Then you have a 4-2 homestand. You can see some more evidence of this talent actually equating to wins. Hopefully we can see a game like what we saw with in the Brooklyn game where Cade and Ivy actually play together beautifully, which we haven't seen a whole lot of. And then you got home games against teams like Memphis and Chicago. Go win those. Go win those games. Go win a couple of road games that maybe you're not supposed to, and finish this season with at least 18 wins, please. It's really, really hard to sell, and I think everybody in this room will agree with me. And this is context free, but think about this: if you would have told me before the year that Cade Cunningham has an all-star level season and basically plays the whole year, he's missed like 10 games. And the Pistons would have the same amount of wins or less than the year before, that to me would have made my head explode on the spot. But it's in danger of happening. But the Pistons have an opportunity to actually put all of this talent on the court and win some games. Because Toronto, that's a game you got to have. Memphis, got to have it, especially with no Ja Morant. Bulls, you've kind of owned them this year. Go win those games and win a few you're not supposed to. Get to 18. Win at Washington. You have one at Washington. Beat them as well. Win at San Antonio in the season finale. Get to 18, please. It'll be symbolic, at least for me.
And don't set that kind of the low wins. The record for the lowest wins in franchise history is 16. Find a way to get some pride and go out there and beat that amount. I'm with you there. And as it relates to the overall rebuild, man, this is year 4. This is year 4. The only way that you get the collection of young talent they have is if you lose as much as they have. Their window from the beginning of this thing was 4 to 5 years. They're entering year 5 right now. I wanted to see them take that jump this offseason, but with Monty Williams entering, there was a lot that went down that handcuffed Troy Weaver, similar to how we saw Joe Dumars get handcuffed at the end of his tenure. So, any other comments on the Detroit Pistons people?
And for all the people in the chat who think I'm kind of being flip-flopping, 18 wins is not a successful season by any means.
Not at all.
I'm just saying, at some point, given the talent that they do have, that even I acknowledged, don't have a worse record than last year, especially with a whole season of Cade. It'll be disappointing no matter what, save for they win out, which is obviously not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just 18 to me would be a symbolic ending to the year where you can kind of say, after that long winning streak, they were just normal bad. You know what I mean? We would have accepted that. We would have accepted a 30 and 52 season. We would have and been happy.
Yep.
Get that pace at least for a large portion of the season. That's all I ask.
Definitely. And I see my man Jesse Adams in the chat as well. The one thing that I've aptly reported is that this summer, what do I want them to do? That's a lot different than reporting what the team is going to do. Troy Weaver reported 7 days before free agency started that there was going to be no big splashes. They were not going to make a move for any important players. That's what I reported. Did I want them to go out there and do something? I absolutely did, because I thought that the iron was hot to strike, that was a time to go on ahead and do it the same way that the Houston Rockets did, and you see what it did for their young team this year. It moved them forward up a step. This is the offseason where if they don't do something, they're saying that they're going to. If they don't, then they're going to fail this restore, in my opinion. And they're going to fail some of their players, because these windows, like Terry Foster talks about, they start to shift, and you start to have to make decisions on this young talent before they're able to see any hope in what you've put together. So definitely, man, it's going to be interesting to see from here. I know we're going to get Rod on next week, Mr. Rod Beard. He wasn't able to make it this week. He had some meetings out at the Detroit News, but next week we'll get him on, get his thoughts on this thing as well, because right now it's about what this team does moving forward. So definitely. I want to make sure we get to what's trending with JB Smooth, though. I want to make sure we do that. So in the next segment, we'll get to that. And if we got some time, we'll definitely make sure we get to the rest of those callers on the line. I'll throw the number out there just so you guys have it, 313-552-6322. And definitely, guys, continue to smash that like button, share the post, and encourage other people to do so as well. We appreciate you guys' support. But first, I got to tell you guys about where I take my pet lion to get the best. You guys know where that's at? You know what it says?
Premier Pet.
Premier Pet, man. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. It's family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local, curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi every other Monday. And after you're done getting a car from Feldman, like myself and Matt Broder once did, go celebrate with a Soroki's dinner. What's better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching your favorite team play? Let me tell you about Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Their food is amazing and their locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. A perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York pizza, fresh salads, sides, and more. Check out the full menu and find the closest Soroki's near you at Sorokis.com. That's SAROKIS.com. Soroki's and Woodward Sports. That's crispy.
Crispy.
That's crispy. I think the only thing better than their chicken and their pizza is if I'm eating it with my wife, man.
Hey,
very good on the desk today.
I see you slide that,
Welcome
man.
back,
I know,
people.
right?
She might be watching, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Welcome back, people. It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys spending your time with us this morning, kicking off your day. Hit that like button, man. Continue to show the network that you guys are on one, that you guys deserve even more giveaways. Phone line 313-552-6322, but I'm not going to belabor things right now. We got to get to the most electrifying segment in sports entertainment. It's If You Smell What JB Smooth is cooking with What's Trending.
Jay Bizzle.
What's going on, fellas?
In the future, I got to actually do the...
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, I got to do that.
You got to add that in there, too. But, all right, I'll try to make these quick. Now, first off, I got to give a shout-out to commas. Because without commas, this statement would have meant something completely wrong, Skip.
Wait, what?
I don't even know what he was trying to talk about in his tweet. But Skip, what are you doing?
Bro, laugh at me, bro.
What are you doing, Skip?
Oh, go ahead.
No, go right ahead. I don't even know what he was doing.
No, I actually do know what he was trying to do, but he did it poorly. He's referring to the Dallas Cowboys kind of being absent in free agency, but what is that tweet?
Yeah, man. Like I said, commas need to be in here. That was perfectly placed.
At least he
love
put the
it.
comma.
I got here from Fast Forward on this one.
I'm just wondering, like, has anyone made a chain out of this yet where it's like they make some fake tweet above it and then follow up with that from Skip?
You
I
know
don't think
what?
so.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis,
Should.
if you're listening, brother.
Hey, yeah.
Travis, if you're listening, I think we got some gold on our hands right now.
Yeah.
I should have given that away.
Absolutely.
I love it,
About to go
man.
viral.
Ain't no good gonna come to Cowboys fans or the Cowboys organization. They didn't make any free agency moves, and their first one was the long snapper. So that just goes to show you what's going on in Dallas right now.
Long snapper, all in my ass.
Nobody wanted to.
All in my ass. Jerry Jones says he's all in.
Oh my God.
I was just about to ask. Nobody wants to read this for our podcast listeners?
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Nope. Don't pass on that one. But moving
Sorry,
on.
podcast listeners.
Moving on, we had a lot of big free agency signings yesterday, but I just want to give some shine to some people that, might have gotten overlooked yesterday. As Skip said, I'm not going to read that statement, but the Cowboys actually did do a signing yesterday. They signed running back Cat Williams.
Hey, get Cat a contract, man. I'm with
Signed
that.
running back Cat Williams. They were
Hey.
definitely impressed by his 4.97 running at the combine. And also, McDonald's made a signing as well, too.
No.
As they signed Kadarius Toney
Yeah.
to a 3-year,
Yeah.
$9 deal.
Shout out Kadarius, man. He deserved that, man.
3-year, $9 per hour deal. Man.
That is a bag, and he's probably going to drop that too.
Yeah.
What? MVP week 1, baby.
I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think Kadarius Toney was a double agent for other teams, or he was point shaving or something. Hey, who was probably the greatest benefactor? Our Detroit Lions.
Facts.
Because I truly believe that they don't win that game if Brian Branch doesn't get that pick 6. But Kadarius Toney just right in his hands.
Yeah.
Boop.
He would have fit right in at Vanderbilt. You hear about the mob trying to get him to throw games?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some backup quarterback they're trying to pay $300,000 to throw a game.
Right. I really wanted the Lions to get Pat
Hey,
Williams.
Silky Johnson said they're hiring for $14 an hour in Detroit. He's only getting McDonald's minimum.
He might hit that with incentives, man. If he hit the manager incentive, they'll give him 15. So,
But shout out to Cat Williams for running a 4.940.
at like
right?
47, 48 years old, man.
Do you realize that if I were to run a 40 right now, it would be above 6? I did one outside of a Lions game with one of my coworkers at a former job, and it was rough. And
Yeah.
I was like cramping at the end, but I was never fast, even in my prime.
Even in my prime.
I had no athletic prime. Broder did. Kool-Aid did. I did not.
All right. Lastly, I will leave you guys on this. So yesterday, shout out Stick in the back.
What up, though,
behind me.
Stick?
What up, Stick? So Kawhi Leonard apparently left the Clippers game in the second quarter. I don't know why. He actually went home as well too, but I think I know why. He had a headache.
Streaming.
Oh God!
That's great.
Ooh, get that girl gone. Oh, come on, man.
Also a while.
Oh,
You hit it.
she tried to hit that note.
Everything in that note right there.
Girl, please.
But yeah, I think that's why he left the Clippers game yesterday. He had a headache, but that's it for what's trending. Back to you guys on the desk.
Jesus.
Cue up the Draymond Green meme.
You're right. Who was worse, her or Fergie, man?
We saw Stick said Fergie was worse.
Just don't cue up the Skip Bayless tweet.
No, God.
Hey, you still don't want to tell our chat family what it said, Mr. Broder?
I already said it.
He did.
I said it in a sentence. We don't have to go over it again. Trying to get me canceled, even though it's not that bad.
Oh, man.
I'm without the comma is kind of bad.
Yo, listen,
True.
man.
Oh, without the comma be
With
bad.
the
but
comma is
this
bad.
is the time.
Yeah.
Even C.J. Gardner-Johnson, everyone's chasing the commas these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah M said that was still better than Fergie for sure. So
Yeah.
Stick got some. He got some supporters.
Fergie is married to Josh Duhamel. Goat.
Hey, you know what? The Fergie remix.
Oh, yeah.
You know what,
I don't
man?
know.
Eduardo O'Neal said, "Did Sam's wife get prime Sam last night?"
Girl,
Everybody. When have I ever kissed and told in my life?
Oh yeah, he ain't no pillow talker.
I feel like there was one time when you kind of.
Oh, well, yeah, that.
I think it lives in infamy. It's a drop now.
Yeah. Well, I just L for me. L for me.
Yeah.
You just like checked me so easily.
It was epic though. It was epic, man.
I
Jeez.
know.
Speaking of L, do we hit up Terrell from FL
Yes,
to round out the show?
Please.
Terrell, what's up? You on Wake Up Woodward, man?
What up, though, Terrell?
Yo, what up, though?
Hey, thanks for
What
staying
up,
on.
what up? Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I'm not going to go Sam Flannel on you today. We're going to keep it cool. You know what I'm saying? Sam, it's Flannel. You missed it yesterday. You would have been proud. But I just want to make a quick comment and then leave y'all with a little message. I do agree with what Sam said earlier. I think he made a really good point about the defensive tackle. Bringing that in, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pass rusher, because if we get somebody to just eat up blocks, that'll make life way easier on Aiden and McNeil. So I think that was a great point. I know that I don't talk about the Pistons much when I call in with you guys, and it's because, like, my feelings are so hurt over the Detroit Pistons. Like, basketball is my second love, and I love the Pistons, and it just kind of hurts to talk about them, so I just kind of... We just kind of pretend that shit's not going on, you know?
Right. Deny.
It's like a bad ex-girlfriend or something. You just want to be like,
Right.
Like,
I never hit that. What are you talking about?
I can't even deny it, though.
But right. But today is my 46th birthday. So happy 313 Day to everybody out there.
Shout out, bro.
Happy birthday, Terrell from FL.
Yeah.
HBD.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And I just wanted to leave you with this, because I see a lot of people my age, and especially people that I went to high school with, and it kind of makes me sad sometimes. So I just want you guys to know out there, especially the guys that are around my age, you don't have to resign yourself to a couch for the rest of your life just because you're getting older. You can go to the gym, go out there and get yourself in great shape. Go out there and, get you a bad bitch or three. And I just want you guys to know that you don't have to resign yourself to a couch just because you're getting older, man.
That's fair.
I mean, we got our man muscles now. You go out there and hit a gym right now, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of upper 20s and 30-year-old women out there that love dudes that are in shape in their 40s and 50s. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that. Go out there and live the second half of your life better than you lived the first half of your life.
That is
that's facts. Good message, Terrell. Appreciate that, man.
That's epic, man. His birthday, sharing it with 313 Day, and he leaves us with the wisdom, man.
Yeah.
Definitely love it.
And real quick, we lost Glenn, a.k.a. Guap, and Tobias. Call back, y'all. Lines was packed today. We got a little busy, but just shout out to y'all for calling. Please call back.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, look, the chat was on one today, man. It was on one today. Do we got a few mailbags that we want to get to?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't even looking. No, I think we got to wrap it up for today.
All right, then.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Let's do this, boys.
Wait, look, chat family, you guys, as always, are epic part of this show, and you guys showed out today. The callers were on one as well. Discourse, disagreement, agreement, we don't care, man. We all want to settle it here at Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for checking in. Before we break down, got to tell you about the crew again, man. Our veteran of the squad, we got Mr. Flannel Sam Reynolds over here. We got in the sound booth, Detroit's #1 draft pick, Mr. KG.
You know it.
Hey, and we got Woodward Sports MVP over here, Mr. JB Smooth, with the Alabama hat on today. Hey, the people want the maize and blue back. And we got our Detroit Lions and Detroit Tigers credentialed beat writer and beat reporter, Mr. Matthew Broder.
Everyone from the 313.
Hey, let's rock, man. And it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid. I cover the Detroit Pistons for this network, man. Hopefully we get some win this season soon. But thank you guys for spending your time here with us this morning. It's been Wake Up Woodward, man. Have a blessed day, you all.
Happy 313.
Happy
Let's go.
Fergie.